Jake's deck, who he is running the Jun Minrage deck.
He's playing John. He's got some excellent cards in the deck. He's got your normal like Farseeks, Thragtusk, Olivias. He also sports 4 whopping copies of Desecration Demon. That is a 6/6 flyer that if your opponent wants to sacrifice a creature, they can tap it and grow it. But Jake has a bunch of removal spells. Dreadbore, Mizzy, Mortar, Sever the Bloodline to make sure he can clear the path for it. The other thing he has is 3 copies of Disciple of Bolas. So if his opponent's tapping down his demon too much, and just sack it, draw 6 or 7 cards, gain 6 or 7 life, no big deal. And even to make things even spicier, he has 2 copies of Undying Evil.
Yeah.
Which gives a creature undying.
I would have thought that would have been something you would have saw like when you play draft or something, but to actually see it in the deck, it's interesting.
So we got turn 1 Return to Ravnica Duels.
Yep.
Blood Crypt, and now Overgrown Tomb for Jake. And Todd's using the new synergy that's going to define standard mana bases, playing a Innistrad Tapland, or Buddy Land,
yes,
as Joey Pascal likes to call it. And so his lands come into play now. With that Steam Vents, pretty much all of Todd's lands can come into play untapped if he so desires.
There's Geist out there.
Geist of St. Trapped for Todd Anderson. Quite the quick clock. Jake needs to do something. He's in his sweet spot. Jake has a ton of 4 mana cards. We talked about Desecration Demon and Disciple. He also has Olivia's and Severs as well.
And there's Olivia now, which immediately gets with a Searing Spear.
Yep. And Todd uses a sweet Star City deck box deck divider as his angel token. I like that. Very classy, Todd.
And he hits for 6 to take Jake down to 14. This will be interesting if Jake has that 5th land.
He does not.
That would have been Thragtusk territory.
He just passed on land. So curious to see. There were no instants other than the Undying Evil in Jake's deck, in at least his main deck. So Jake's going to take 6 more from Geist, and
he'll be down to 8. Oh, here we go. Thragtusk. Yep.
Thragtusk is going to resolve, I believe. There's a Searing Spear, a Snapcaster Mage, a Restoration Angel, and an Island in Todd's deck. So Jake, a much safer 13 life.
Well, it gives him the opportunity maybe next turn if he has the Desecration Demon in his hand or something like that. And he'll Searing Spear that one. To get rid of it, get the token out there.
So Todd's just on the power through it plan as the players wait for an actual beast token. So Todd draws Moorland Haunt, but not exactly the card that he needs. But I don't think Todd's in any rush to do anything. So here comes the team. Drops Jake down to a very precarious 5 life.
Yeah.
And Todd still has a Restoration Angel ready to go. But Jake with his 2nd Thragtusk in as many turns, so you see the dominance of Thragtusk already.
Well, it's good to see. Todd has also another Geist in his hand, so technically he could send Geist out there if he wanted to next turn, just to get the damage through, because he'll block it. He'll block with the Thragtusk on it, trying to get rid of it.
Well, he doesn't even need the 2nd copy because I believe Todd drew a Snapcaster Mage, and that will get Searing Spear. So basically, Jake gets to block Geist of St. Traft with his Thragtusk. Mm-hmm. That means he's still taking 9 damage, falling to 1. And Todd can finish him off by Snapcastering and the Searing Spear.
Yes.
So Todd's up a game.
All right, let's take a look at Jake's sideboard here. Sure. He has 3 Deathrite Shaman, 4 Huntmaster of the Felds, 3 Galgori Charms, 2 Zealous Contrips, and 3 Underworld Connections. Huntmaster maybe to stem off some of the bleeding, to get some life back, to keep him under control. Just
Huntmaster is very good against Geist of St. Traff.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that he's really getting to a critical mass of 4 mana spells. Zach, if all your cards cost the same amount, then you don't have effective ways to use all your mana every turn.
But Todd never saw. I think Todd just flashed us what he was bringing in on the sideboard.
Oh. Well, you guys know what Todd's bringing in,
yes.
But we'll just have to guess. He has 2 Dissipates, 2 Negates, 3 Supreme Verdict, 3 Dungeon Geist, which is a card I like. His only Planeswalker, 1 Tameo, Moon Sage, 2 Sundering Growth, and 2 Purify the Grave.
I think the one thing that, for the way what happened with Jake's hand, is that Todd still doesn't know that he has the Desecration Demon. He doesn't.
Right, he does not know that.
Yeah, so that's knowledge he doesn't have.
Todd would, if I were in Todd's position, I would just assume Jake's on a very normal-looking drone deck with a very average draw. You still don't know what removal spells Jake may have.
Yeah.
So you can't really tailor because he didn't play one. That's pretty much the majority of the things you can customize in a drone deck. Your removal spells.
Well, the one thing about it is that we're unfortunately unable to see what Jake has because he holds his cards back. So we could have been able to see what he had and what he kept his first hand. It's interesting that he did not have anything to play early. And I know his deck doesn't really have that, but at least a Borderland Ranger out there stems some of the bleeding, gets him the mana he needs, does something.
If you look at his deck, he really doesn't have that much.
No.
So, I mean, without one of... Jake has 4 Farseeks, which are by far the best card in his deck.
Yes.
He also has 3 Borderland Rangers, and none of his other cards really cost less than 4. He has some removal spells that do so, but when Todd plays a Geist of St. Traff, Jake's going to have to try and beat it with 4 mana cards, and that's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Could it be that he designed his deck with too many, like you said, at the 4 spot?
Yes.
Maybe if he'd had a couple of 2s, or I mean, even if he'd have started out with Deathrite Shamans in the sideboard in there, and maybe had the Desecration Demons in the sideboard or something like that, just to give him early tempo. Because right now his early tempo, like you said, is Farseek.
Right.
That's really it.
And it's not necessarily like he's not trying to kill his opponent super quick, but he needs to get on the board.
Yeah.
You saw that game where he played a 4 mana spell, didn't draw a second one, and not even double Thragtusk could pull him out. So Thragtusk is really, really good, but it can't do it all by itself. It still costs 5.
Yeah. It looks like Todd has Searing Spear in his hand, land.
3 lands. Essence Scatter for Todd, another card I'm a really big fan of. Snapcaster, and it looks like a second Searing Spear, but it's red.
Now that's interesting because you said this week, I thought we were getting away from counter spells and all that. I think because everybody's upset that we lost Mana Leak and things like that. You're now championing having counter spell type material.
Yes, counter spells are bad. That does not mean that counter spells are worse than Mana Leak.
Okay.
It does not mean they're unplayable.
Okay.
They're also not. They're not ever present. As Speak of the Devil, we see as Todd draws a Syncopate.
And we talked.
And that's just going to be a huge beating against Jake's build. Tons of slow development. This is pretty much Jake's normal game.
At turn 3, he should have been able to play a Borderland Ranger or something.
He only has 7 things to play.
I know, but it's an interesting decision. Now Todd has a tough decision to make. Does he go out? Well, he's going to play the Geist. I thought he may hold back for the Syncopate, but obviously he's just going to put out the pressure. This could be the demon. Oh,
Huntmaster. Excellent answer to Geist of St. Traff. I bet Todd's, for the time being, Todd is not happy that he decided to play Geist, as Jake had one of the better answers. Considering
he had both Dissipate and the second in his hand ready to go.
That looks like a Sundering Growth.
Okay, so he will get rid of the Huntmaster, leaves him with the Wolf.
But no 4th land from Todd. So here comes the Borderland Ranger, a little late to the party.
But it does get him to 5, which is now Thragtusk.
Still a valuable card for Jake.
He went red. Could that single? He has Thundermaw in his hand.
Probably. The other thing is, I think that's the only land in his deck that he would need.
Okay.
Like right now, this Farseed could get a colorless land and still do everything. Jake no longer has cards in his deck that he cannot cast.
Oh, there you go.
Todd, on the other hand, he has plenty of cards that he can't cast with current mana, but I believe that's a Steam Vents that he just drew. He's just deciding how he wants to. He wants to spend his mana.
Does he? Yeah, he's so okay. He'll
Definitely
take the
pay 2 life. Yeah, one thing I don't see enough of, and this is one thing I learned the hard way in the original Ravnica. It's okay to take 2 off your shocklands. Not that big of a deal. There's a reason they're the best.
Okay, so he is tapping 5. This looks like Thundermaw. Oh no, Thragtusk.
I'll go with Thragtusk this time. Todd's likely going to counter it. He's going to use Syncopate. It's probably the last time he's going to have the option to Syncopate something. Jake has 7 lands in play.
Yeah.
And mid-range deck don't have a ton of.
There's a good card, Detention Spear. See that one coming into play hopefully soon, depending on if he drops, especially against Desecration Demon. A Detention Spear is a... Olivia.
That's another excellent answer. Todd has the option to Essence Scatter it, or Dissipate it, or do pretty much anything with it. Todd's going to keep the cheaper card in his hand and Dissipate over Essence Scatter.
Yeah. All right.
So with the 5th land, Todd might have the ability to do multiple things in a turn. Like if he wanted to, 1 more land gives them access to, say, Essence Scatter and Detention Sphere in the same turn.
We also see that he has Thundermaw Hellkite in his hand. That'll also give him the ability to play that if he so choose.
A little bed Disciple Bolus. It's going to come into play. Jake's going to sack a Wolf token, gain 2 life, and draw 2 cards.
More importantly, draw the cards.
Jake needs the cards right now. He was actually out of cards before those 2. One thing Jake did a little bit poorly there is that he played a Blood Crypt untapped and then attacked. So pretty much told Todd that he had something.
Yeah. Okay, so he uses Pillar of Flame, gets rid of Borderland Ranger. Another land. Let's see. 4.
Or for another Huntmaster, that's going to get. I could not get Essence Scattered fast enough from Todd. So.
There's land 5, which is critical for him. He now has, like you said before, he has plenty of options of what he can do.
Yeah, so option 1 is Thundermaw Hellkite.
Yes.
Option 2 is Detention Sphere the Disciple and attack, or Snapcaster plus Pillar of Flame likely to get his Geist through.
Yeah, because now he can start putting the pressure on him right away.
Alright, so Todd withstood Jake's basically almost all of his threats, and then still has a Geist in play, and he's going to start to go after Jake's life total.
Alright, that will put him down 6 to 16. We'll be updated in a minute. Oh, he just played a land and pass turn. Another 8. Oh, how quickly this deck just goes off. Oh, shakes the hand. That's the game.
And that's it. Jake floats out a little bit in the mid game, and Geist's Handtrapped takes off huge chunks of Jake's life total very quickly.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what Jake did send in. We know he put in the Huntmasters for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would have hoped maybe Zealous Conscript maybe might not have been a bad choice. He saw the Thundermaw, trying to maybe get back